So here is an illustration of a typical sales process. First thing you do when you meet people, so this is for a sales meeting. When you meet people is that you want to build some confidence. So building confidence, of course, can be partly about chemistry. So you just sit and talk about things that are not really important and not related to the product at all. But that could also be that you just tell a few stories about how successful your company is. I have been in many situations where one single remark that was told to me in this sequence here made all the difference, because I thought, if the company has done that, then they must be really clever. And I want to hang around and listen, because I want to find out what exactly it is they do and what they can do for me. Then during this early stage, it's good to make a hint of what the product is. So you can hint that as I'm going to show you later, it's amazing what it can do with blah blah, but you're not specific at all. And that is because there is a general rule for all of this, which is do not talk about your product until you have sold it. And maybe you think that doesn't make any sense, but it does make sense, because you want to find out what people are interested in and why they're interested in that. And only when you have found out what it really is they want to achieve, what their problem or their desire is, can you present the product. Not only maybe you can choose which product or solution you present, but you could also choose in which way to present it. And that is why you're not trying to be specific about your product until you have gone through some stages. And the most important stages here are asking questions. So you can ask, first of all, who is the decision-making unit? That's not the term you would use, but if you are in a corporate sale where you're selling to an organization and you're sitting together with a person, is that the ultimate decision maker? Or will it have to go up in the organization to somebody else who has to sign up on it? Or if you're talking with a family, do I need to talk with your spouse also? I mean, are your children involved in this decision? Should we all be around the table when we discuss this? And so there are so many different ways that you can go wrong by pushing forward with a person and then finally find out that this person is not really the final decision maker. But other questions can be about what is it you want. Let's say you're selling a car, something we all can recognize. Somebody comes into a showroom, they just look around the cars, you're a salesman. So you start chatting with them, and then you ask, so what do you need the car for? Is it for going on the countryside with the family and dog or whatever? Is it for driving to an office in the inner city? You can ask a lot of questions to determine what are the desires and the needs. And the more you can get out of them in this process, the better you are equipped before you actually tell them that, okay, now I understand what it is you are looking for, I have the right thing for you. And then you show the product. So you ask questions to find out who they are, who make the decisions, what are their problems, what are their desires. And then you start establishing their needs. And this is a series of part closings. It could be, for instance, if you're in a car showroom, that if we have a car which has the four-wheel drive that you clearly need, and which can have up to 6 people and a dog behind, and still doesn't eat too much fuel on a highway, would that be interesting? Yes, that would be interesting. And you can do part closings with a family, with a person, with a corporate team, with whoever. If you're in a corporate meeting, you can go up to a whiteboard and you can write down, as from what we have discussed, I have understood that what you are looking for is A, B, C, D. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. Is there anything else you're looking for? We're also looking for, one more thing. Okay, one more thing. Is there anything else? So this is all you're looking for. There's nothing else. This is what you want. Yes. Okay, we have that. So by doing that, you are well on your way to closing the sale. And then you get to the product demo. And one rule about the product demo is that the more you can get the client to demonstrate the product to you, the salesman, the better. You get the client to sit in the car. You turn on the engine, you say, if you press this button, something happened. If you press that, something happened. Try and do this. Step out, see what now you put the blinkers, see how nice it is. This is made by Swarovski, whatever it is. But the client touches, uses the product. If it's software, the client gets the mouse and clicks and so on. That works very well. So with the product demo, you are in the process of preparing to close the deal. And then we get to the actual closing of the deal. And the actual closing of the deal can be done in many different ways. Many of the best salespeople I know have a technique that is funny because they simply assume that it's closed. So at one point they certainly say, when do you want it delivered? You could also say, for instance, would it work for you if we deliver it on Friday next week? So when you say, would it work for you if we deliver Friday next week? You have not said that they bought it, but if they say yes, then I bought it. So now you've closed the deal, and now we get to the after sales. After sales is something some people forget, but it's really important that when you have closed the deal, you should not just say thank you, goodbye, and leave. No. First of all, people want to if you just leave, people feel like what just happened. But if you stay around and chat about other things for a while, things that have nothing to do with the product or the sales or anything else, then they have a chance to come up with further objections and so on. And that might sound like a threat, but it's a very good thing, because if you have been sitting there and talking for a while about completely different things and no problems came up, then they have had the chance to bring up issues. They didn't do it, so they feel it's fair, and this kind of firms up the whole process. The other thing you can do in this phase is that you can start asking about, do you know anybody else who would be interested in that? Could you refer me to another potential client, and so on? And very often people would do that, because right now they're really interested in what you do. And instead of people bringing up objections in that phase, it's more likely that they will start asking for more stuff that they can buy, because it's like the wallet is open mentally, and they're in the mood where they have decided that they like what you do and so on. So hang around, see what happens here, and try to get some other leads. So this is a standard model for a sales meeting. And again, everybody has their own style, but it is useful, even for the most talented, intuitive salesperson. It is useful to get through some of these steps.
Do you speak future?